Our readings today are Exodus chapters 1 to 3. We read in Exodus how Israel is growing and that things are changing for the Israelites in Egypt. A lot of time has gone by. There's a new Pharaoh. That means a new deal for the Israelites. This deal isn't a good deal because they find themselves in a state of oppression and slavery. We read that Pharaoh commands that every boy born to the Hebrews be thrown into the Nile, and that when Moses is born, he's placed in a basket and sent down the Nile. Only to be saved, ironically, by Pharaoh's daughter, of all people, right? So Moses grows up. He has to flee Pharaoh, finds himself in Midian. But I want to take time to reflect about Moses and the burning bush, because the burning bush tells us something about God, a God that wants to be close to us. Bishop Robert Barron sees the bush as a lovely symbolic expression of the way God relates to the world. He says that the closer God gets, the more we become radiant with his presence. God's proximity does not mean our destruction or the compromising of our integrity. Rather, it is the means by which we become fully ourselves. So for Barron, when the true God comes close, things become radiant and beautiful. Now, when Moses encounters this burning bush, God invites him to come close, but then tells him to stop, to take off his sandals. This certainly is seen as an act of worship. He's standing on holy ground. Also, in this culture, you would have taken your shoes off when entering a home. My father being from Thailand, I understand that part of a culture very well. We practiced this in my home growing up. Whenever we'd enter the home, we'd take off our shoes. Whenever guests would come over, we'd ask them if they could please remove their shoes. So Moses is encountering God here. He's invited to take off his shoes. Dennis Olson points out that he might be making a home with God. Yes, he's worshiping God, but Olson points out that Moses is currently homeless. He's lacking community, and now he's finding a home with God. So a question for us to ponder today is, how do we both worship God and make our home with God? This requires us to look at worship not as some kind of work of obligation or just an event that fills our weekly calendar. It's about finding our home with a God that comes to us, God that comes very close to us in word and sacrament. That God that came close to Moses in the burning bush comes close to us in word and meal. And think about those family get-togethers and dinners that you have. Ideally, they're in a home, right? They're around a table. Well, in worship, that's what we do. The Lord invites us to his table. We receive the Lord's Supper. We're receiving the living God who is the meal, but also the host of the meal. And when God feeds us in this way, we truly are home with God. Those are some thoughts for today. Take care and God bless.